All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, as I analyze this Luke Walton situation with the LA Lakers, it becomes more and more apparent to me that Luke Walton is in a no-win situation. And maybe he deserves to be in a no-win situation because it's very possible that he's not a very good coach. It's very difficult to discern or determine how good or bad a coach is just looking at his resume. He was the assistant coach for Steve Kerr when he was with the Golden State Warriors, but we all know that that team ran on automatic. And now he's the coach with the LA Lakers. He spent the first couple of years presiding over a group of neophytes, and now he happens to coach probably the most megalomaniacal superstar in the history of the NBA. And we know that LeBron James has a history of being a quote-unquote coach killer. And to a degree, I understand it. If you look at things from LeBron James' perspective, he has a very huge ego. He's accustomed to being called a basketball genius, which he is. But he's an unchecked basketball genius. And unchecked basketball geniuses very rarely ascend to the heights that they should have. Because when they're given the proverbial run of the house, they're not forced to assess themselves. When we're forced or compelled to assess ourselves, that's when we can clean up those little foibles here and there, those little flaws here and there that can take us to the next level. LeBron James has never had that. He's never had a real coach, probably since high school, that told him, LeBron, you're wrong. And maybe since junior high school, who the hell knows? And that, to me, is the main reason why he chose not to attempt to sign with the San Antonio Spurs. Because underneath all the bluster of LeBron James and his fans that he's never had a great coach, the real question is, can LeBron James handle a great coach? Can he handle a coach that actually is going to coach him? As opposed to there being someone on the sideline in a suit and tie who's just there to hold a spot. Well, it appears as if LeBron James and his crew may have been correct in their assertion that Luke Walton should be fired, because what we've heard in the aftermath of this initial report that I'm going to be covering from Jackie McMullen, there seems to be an insurrection in the LA Lakers locker room against Luke Walton. Now, could it be because he's not a good coach and he's not able to properly decipher what the rotations should be? Or is it just a groundswell and a mob mentality, because that happens? Sometimes players read the newspaper or look at their phone and they see that everyone is against Luke Walton and they jump on board, because people, for the most part, are sheep and lemmings. They're not quite sure what to believe, and they love to engage in that quote-unquote mob mentality. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Luke Walton's job security is a topic of conversation. Our senior writer, Jackie McMullen, joined Brian Windhorst in the Hoop Collective podcast on Friday, weighing in on how LeBron's camp feels about a possible coaching change. Here's the exchange between McMullen and Windhorst, with Jackie saying, quote, "It's clear to me, and probably to you, Brian, that LeBron's camp would prefer a coaching change. They're not too subtle about that."
LeBron James is like one of these chicks that has to change her hair every time she breaks up with her boyfriend. Every time LeBron James goes to a new team, the coach that is there has to be fired. And once again, you'll notice that if you pay attention, the team where LeBron had the most success was with the Miami Heat. And that was the only team where there was a presiding figure that told LeBron James, no, we're not going to fire Eric Spoelstra just because you feel like having him fired. No, we're not going to do that.
I don't think that's fair. I don't. Not LeBron, but all the people around LeBron, and they made it known. I don't think this is a shock, is it, for me to say this?
Well, Jackie McMullen, she kind of backpedaled a little bit. She said not LeBron, but all the people around LeBron. Well, let's be for real for a moment, Jackie McMullen. The reason why you're making that distinction between LeBron and his camp is because you don't have LeBron James on tape making that type of admission. But you have the quote-unquote people around him making those types of admissions. But what we all know is that LeBron James's camp is filled with nothing but yes men. So if they're saying it, it's because they've heard it from him. If LeBron James was telling them, I love Coach Walton, they would not be talking like this. We all know that.
This Windhorst responded, quote, "That's a fair thing to say. That's a fair thing to say." Now back to First Take.
Thank you, and yes, we welcome you back to First Take. We come to you live from the Seaport District at Pier 17. We're brought to you by Chase Greeny here from Get Up, having some fun. Thank you, Molly, who will join this crew down in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. The Lakers get a win last night, but still no LeBron on the floor. And as you just heard, according to Jackie Mack, LeBron's camp apparently wants Luke Walton out as head coach. So, Max Kellerman, are you okay with LeBron's camp going after the coach like this?
Yeah.
Does it really matter whether somebody's okay with LeBron James' camp going after Coach Walton? I mean, really, once again, does it really matter? Once sharks see chum in the water, they're going to circle it. Right now, LeBron James' camp knows that Luke Walton is in a very precarious situation right now. He's very vulnerable. So they're going to try to hone in on him. They're going to try to separate what they put forth with what LeBron James thinks, because they don't want him to be blamed, quote unquote, for Luke Walton getting fired. But this is a process with LeBron James. Wherever he goes, he has to destroy everything and then rebuild it in his image.
Yes, and I want to say something. I want to be very clear about it, okay? I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to say and I want you to listen to what follows.
Okay.
LeBron James is a coach killer.
No shit.
He is a coach killer. And I'm okay with that.
Of course you are, because you're a LeBron James fanboy. You're not going to get on TV and say, I disagree with that because LeBron James can be wrong. When you're a fan, you never believe that the focus of your attention or the focus of your ardor is incorrect.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The most important thing is that the team operates as successfully as it can. That the team wins as much as possible, that they give themselves the best chance to win a championship.
Well, let me ask you a question, Max Kellerman, because you assert that LeBron James is as good as the next two best players in the NBA. Seeing as you believe that, whose fault is it that LeBron James has only won 3 championships going on 16 years now? Something is not making sense. Something is not adding up.
Yep. And if LeBron James doesn't believe that that coach is the answer, do you mean to tell me that coach knows more basketball than LeBron James? He sees what's going out there, what's going on the floor better than LeBron James? No.
So then how come LeBron James just does not become the player coach? The reason why he does not become the player coach is because he does not want to be the recipient of the blame. So he needs a puppet figure to be placed as the coach who can take all the blame. That's why Ty Lue damn near dropped dead last year. Ty Lue couldn't take the position of being the head coach of LeBron James because he realized what it entailed. Once again, LeBron James' most successful span of his career was in Miami because Pat Riley shut a lot of his shit down.
No, the answer is no. LeBron James has a track record of knowing better, in fact. Now, if Pat Riley runs the organization and he believes Spoelstra's the guy and LeBron isn't sure, I understand. Pat Riley is that kind of alpha personality that says, no, we're going to stick with Spoelstra. And it worked.
Absolutely. Now notice, even Max Kellerman is able to note that Pat Riley, a quote-unquote alpha personality, was able to nullify LeBron James, and it worked. Now let's see how he tries to qualify this statement.
But if it hadn't worked, had they not won the championship, and LeBron said, I don't want Spoelstra, I'd be fine with LeBron getting rid of Spoelstra.
Well, Max Kellerman, I have news for you. They didn't win the championship the first season that LeBron James was there, and we all know whose fault that was. So even if LeBron had said, I want Spoelstra out, and they had kept Spoelstra, whether they kept him or fired him, that would not have deflected from the fact that LeBron James came up the smallest of any all-time great superstar in a championship round. And you pretty much just nullified your own sentiment. Either LeBron James is right or he's wrong. We know for a fact that he tried to get Spoelstra fired within the first 15 or 20 games of his initial season with the Miami Heat. So the fact that Pat Riley said, no, sit your ass down, you're the player, I already know who the proper coach for this team is, shows you that that is what he needs. He needs to be told no.
Magic Johnson was a coach killer. He was a coach killer to a championship coach.
Magic Johnson got one coach removed in his career. LeBron James has gotten every coach that he's played for either removed or he wanted them removed.
And he was right. In the end, it doesn't matter how you're labeled, coach killer, team play, whatever it is. The question is, who is right? LeBron James has consistently proven to be correct throughout his career. And more importantly than that, even if you don't think he is, if he believes a coaching change will make him perform better, if he believes that gives him the best chance to win and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, who cares?
Well, the real issue, Max Kellerman, is that it very rarely has ever become a self-fulfilling prophecy. As a matter of fact, once again, he's had his most success when he was told no. So the point that you're attempting to make is a false one. The other championship that he won in his career was based off of a series of serendipity. I mean, let's be for real. It also entailed LeBron James and Kyrie Irving being extremely dominant on the basketball court those last 3 games. But there were also certain events that transpired that had to assist them. So this notion that LeBron James is always correct is a falsehood, and you already noted it when you stated that Pat Riley told him no when it came to Eric Spoelstra.
Main thing is, how do you get it done? And you gotta listen to LeBron James here.
I would say this to you. I would have a problem with it if you ain't man enough to say so.
I agree, sir.
And you leave it to others to speak up for you, and you never have anything to say. You want to sit back and be all innocent like you have nothing to do with the chitter-chat that's going on.
In other words, Stephen A. Smith understands, just like me, that in order for LeBron James' team to be talking like that, it has to be coming from him.
But in fairness to LeBron James and his camp, their position is that it's not true. As much as they respect Jackie McMullen, they refute what she says. And, I'm going to roll with Jackie McMullen all day, every day, to be quite honest with you. But out of respect, you want to quote other people and what they're saying.
Jackie Mac don't usually get it wrong. No.
Yeah, she's usually correct. There are a few reporters out there who normally get it right. She's one of them, as well as Brian Windhorst. Normally what they say comes to fruition. And, of course, Wojnarowski.
No, not Jackie McMullen. Oh, no. And not only that, let's also keep in mind that, they want to say that they feel like Luke Walton is doing a good job. To say that, to understand this, here's why I have a problem with it. The reason why I have a problem with it is because I know, regardless of whether the truth or not there is to the whole LeBron and his camp situation, I know where the real problem lies with Luke Walton. He had a private meeting with Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson in that meeting told Luke Walton, I'm not satisfied with your staff hiring a bunch of your boys, you understand, outside of Brian Shaw. I don't like that, and I think there needs to be an upgrade.
Well, Luke Walton has all his Arizona boys with him because he's trying to build up his coaching staff in the image of what Steve Kerr has done in Golden State, because Steve Kerr is also an Arizona alum, and that whole Steve Kerr, Judd Buechler, that Lute Olson, all those guys, the Lute Olson tree, they're trying to keep that going in L.A., and Magic Johnson is not trying to have that.
Luke Walton, according to my sources, went back and told his assistants. The assistants presumably went and told their agents. And the agents were the one who put all of that stuff out there, which made for an uncomfortable environment. Magic still ain't happy about that. That I can tell you. Here's what the reality is. Luke Walton's a damn good coach as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
And I think that
it's difficult to tell how good or bad a coach he is right now. We just can't tell based off of his resume. If we're going to go by Golden State and now the Lakers, what we know is that incrementally he's been able to build up this young team, but LeBron James is not eager to build up these youngsters, even though I think that they would actually give him a better chance to win a championship than if he had Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is not going to help LeBron James win a championship, I'm sorry. Not unless they have a bevy of great shooters and 3-and-D guys around them. So they almost tried to liquefy this current team. It didn't work. And for this season, I think this group would give LeBron James a better chance of winning a chip, which is 0, but they would give him a better chance than AD would.
that he's doing a good job, and I think that he's gotten better and better. He's addressed the concerns. He's made some modifications in terms of things schematically, in terms of how they practice and what have you, and he's a lot better than he was at the beginning of the season. That combined with his youth, I believe that Luke Walton should be given every opportunity to be successful. Magic Johnson will evaluate him at the end of the season. But it's not about LeBron and his camp or LeBron or Coach Kill. It's not about any of that. What this is about is Magic Johnson having the power that Jeannie Buss has bestowed on him to make whatever changes he deems necessary. And Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka did not hire Luke Walton. That was a Jim Buss hire, the Jeannie Buss hire.
And that's really the issue.
And that's what
No, the real issue is that Magic Johnson cannot fire him because Magic Johnson does not have the power that the people in the media would like to think that Magic Johnson has. I've been saying that for a very long time, that Magic Johnson is just a figurehead, and LeVar Ball basically confirmed it when he went on his tour of the Fox Sports 1 TV shows yesterday. And it did not surprise me at all when he said what he said about Magic Johnson. There's no disrespect. The media has tried to project Magic Johnson as this great businessman, and I've told you brothers for a long time, all he is a mascot. He's meant to be a liaison between whatever organization he represents and the public at large because he has a lot of charisma. But he's not somebody who you trust when it comes to business sense. Any person who will get on television and publicly divulge who he wants to recruit for his team while they're still contractually obligated to another team, and you know that you're in management, I'm sorry, you're just not that swift. When it comes to understanding the protocol of free agency, you're not that swift.
What the real
when
issue
the new
is.
executives come in,
That's
they
what the
like
real
to
issue
choose. Like here's the thing: Luke Walton is a good coach. I agree. Rick Pitino was a good pro coach. Won Pat Riley, right? Like Luke Walton.
Rick Pitino had one good season with the New York Knicks. I mean, let's knock it off. He tried to coach Boston, and that was pretty much a failure. Rick Pitino was a good coach for, I would say, 2 years with the Knicks. I might give him 1 year with the Boston Celtics where he was a good coach.
Luke Walton's a good coach. David Blatt's a good coach. If the new GM, if the new front office didn't hire you, you can't just be a good coach. You must necessarily be a great coach, because good ain't going to cut it.
I would agree with that.
You must win, and if you don't, they will replace you. It's simple as that, because they want to bring in their guy.
Listen, I would argue that he is a great coach and is doing a great job. When they had everybody healthy, they were playing great, and he's developing the young talent extraordinarily well along the way. I'm not sure.
Well, that's debatable, how well he's developing the young talent. That's debatable. It's also debatable that he, quote-unquote, had them playing great. One might say that LeBron James had them playing great. And that brings me back to the previous question that I already asked. Why is it that LeBron James just won't bite the bullet and become the player coach? It's because he does not want to deal with the press conferences. He does not want to have to deal with the rebuke from the large market media in LA or from ESPN when it comes to certain decisions and crucial moments. He wants somebody to be able to deflect on, that being the coach, somebody to blame. And of course, when it comes time to try to initiate a trade, he does not want to be the fall guy when there starts to be chattering and murmuring about who's going to be shipped out from the Lakers. Because we pretty much already know that LeBron James is helping to orchestrate many of these trades as it is, but he does not want to be the official face of who's initiating these trades, or at least these trade rumors.
I'm not sure what you could want him to do he hasn't done. Having said all of that, the question is, it's all well and good to say you want him out. Who do they want in? Who does Magic, if Magic wants him out, if LeBron wants him out, who replaces him?
I don't know that definitively. I would tell you it's not Mark Jackson, who I think should be a strong candidate if Luke Walton were to lose that job. I can tell you if Luke Walton did not have a job with the Lakers this year, the Charlotte Hornets, not just Mitch Kupchak, but Michael Jordan, would have hired Luke Walton in a nanosecond. He would have been the coach of the Charlotte Hornets. He would have had a job. Make no mistake about it.
That's interesting. And we know that Stephen A. Smith is a fraternity brother of Michael Jordan. They're both in Omega Sci-Fi. They talk a lot. So for Stephen A. Smith to say that with a particular sense of certainty, to me just confirms that he's spoken to Jordan about Luke Walton, and Jordan has told him that he likes Luke Walton.
Because they love him. The flip side to all of this is that I am told that Magic Johnson has a coach in mind in the event that he elects to let Luke Walton go. I do not know the name of that person definitively. That's why I don't want to throw it out there. But I know it's somebody that is already employed in the National Basketball Association as a head coach that Magic would want in LA if he elected to let go of Luke Walton. But they all concede that Luke Walton is doing a far better job now than he was at the beginning of the year. I think Luke Walton will be given a chance to succeed. I think he should be given a chance to succeed, and we'll see what happens.
Paul West.
Well, brother, let's be for real. For you to get on television and say that you already know who Magic Johnson wants to replace Luke Walton with, you're basically saying that it's only a matter of time. And in my view, the only person that you could possibly be speaking about is David Fizdale from the New York Knicks. Why is that? Because he has a history with LeBron James, and I believe that that was the coach that Magic wanted anyway. I think that they wanted him from last season.
Westhead. Magic got rid of him when he was a player, a championship coach. It doesn't matter. I think Luke Walton's really good. I hope he stays Lakers coach, unless LeBron doesn't want him. Then as a Lakers fan, I wouldn't want him either, because it's more important that the best player on earth is happy and believes he's in the best position to win.
Well, sir, what happens when you're around someone who does not know how to be happy? What happens when the person that you're trying to make happy can only attain to a facsimile of happiness once they've initiated a cycle of destruction, which is LeBron James? And I can't say this enough. Max Kellerman keeps making these statements, and he's not making them from a perspective of precedent. Because once again, LeBron James had his greatest success on a team where he was told no, not when he was told yes, because he wanted Spoelstra gone as well.
Than it is to keep the coach, because you believe
Well,
in the coach.
I definitely don't disagree with that. I mean, if LeBron doesn't want the man, then obviously you got to make changes, because you signed LeBron James for 4 years, $153 million. And let's give LeBron James incredible credit in this regard.
I think that you guys have already given him too much credit. If your attitude is going to be to fire any coach that LeBron James doesn't want, that has to be based off of some type of understanding that is going to guarantee a championship. LeBron James's presence has not guaranteed any championships anywhere that he's gone. All is guaranteed is that you're going to make a great playoff run.
He apparently has a lot of faith in Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. He has stood back. He has said very little. He's left it up to them. He's been focused on himself. And even though he tried to say that's what he was in the past, that was a damn lie. And he had something to say about David Blatt. He had something to say about Tyronn Lue. At the beginning, he had something to say about Spoelstra until Pat Riley said, "Excuse me, I'm Mr. South Beach." No, LeBron has had a lot to say about a lot of people, but he didn't have anything to say in this particular situation because he knows he doesn't need to, because he has an incredible amount of faith in Magic Johnson, which is why it makes it that more important that Magic Johnson deliver with this Anthony Davis thing.
Well, we already know now that that has not happened. So Magic Johnson is going to have to reaffirm the quote-unquote faith that LeBron James has in him with other means.
Walton's a good coach, at least. I'm saying he hasn't proven that he's a great coach yet. Although he had a better record with the Warriors as interim coach than Steve Kerr did that same year when they won 73 games.
Whoop-de-woo.
He was the coach for half the year, right?
39-4.
39-4. It's a better record than Kerr had that year. It's almost the exact same.
Yes, with Steve Kerr calling him before every game and letting him know what he wants the team to do. Sure.
Same thing, right?
Right.
The point is, he's already shown that. And by the way, think about the Lakers this season. You know what they're really good at and they don't get credit for? They're a very good defensive team.
They've gotten better.
A very good defensive team.
Sometimes.
Luke Walton is a very good coach, but if he wants to keep his job, he has to be a great one. And that's the challenge for him.
He has to upgrade his assistant staff to Magic's liking. At the end of this same staff, if Luke Walton were to keep his job, cannot come back.
Does any of this play on the Anthony Davis thing? Does whether they get him or not change what they wind up doing with the coach?
Well, we can forget about the Anthony Davis thing, at least for now. But they made their points, and I made my point when it comes to Mr. Luke Walton. It's very difficult to tell exactly how good a coach he is right now because his track record, his coaching track record, is filled with a lot of space where he's either coached over or presided over a team that was already championship caliber. He was presiding over young players who were developing, or now he's trying to be the coach of a coach killer. So I actually think that it would be better for him if he were let go by the Lakers and he were to go to Charlotte or wherever else and be able to coach a real team with a real star that actually wants to listen to him and a real GM that actually wants to assist him, so that if for no other reason, we could decipher exactly how good a coach he is. But anyway, peace.